I believe it's 6 o'clock and I'd like to welcome you to the Payson City Council meeting and RDA meeting for May 7th, 2025. And as I said, it's 6 o'clock. I will go ahead and open with prayer. Our Father in heaven, as we come before thee at this time, we're so very thankful for being here in Payson and for being able to have a great community. And we're thankful for the citizens that are attending and those that are not able to. And we're thankful for the ability that we as the city mayor and city council has to envision the future. And hopefully, Father, if that would please help us to come to good decisions with the council and the citizens' input. We're thankful for the weather we've had and the good winter and the water that has been stored, Father. And we say these things in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Easton Brady, would you lead us in the pledge?
Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks.
Thank you, Easton. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. We have a lengthy consent agenda. Number one, approval of the April 2nd, 2025 City Council minutes. Number two, approval of the April 15, 2025 Special City Council minutes. Number three, resolution Bergstrom deferral agreement at approximately 400 North and 1663 West. Number four, resolution Villages at Arrowhead Park, Plat H, development agreement. And number five, proclamation Police Week. 6, proclamation National Public Works Week. Number 7, proclamation EMS Week. And number 8, proclamation Arson Awareness Week. Council, if there's no discussion on those items, I'm ready for a motion.
I do have a quick question.
Okay.
So on the deferral agreement, what's our process for following up on those to make sure that they happen?
So there's triggers that are in there. So if development gets within 300 feet of them, then they have to connect. And then, or if they do anything else after this, then there's also a trigger. It's just where they're at is out in the farmland. So there's nothing like for one house to try to bore underneath the railroad tracks and put in all the stuff they'd have to for sewer, water, and PI. It just is not cost effective. So
Right. And I understand that part, but how are we going to make sure when it gets within 300 feet that that triggers that we know to go do that?
well,
if it's
the
in 5
agreement will
years
get
from now?
recorded against the property. Plus, we can put it in iWork too to flag the surrounding areas too.
Okay, that's what I was just trying to see how we monitor that.
Yeah, we can do both of those.
Okay, thank you.
Council, any other questions? Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. The roll call vote starting with Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Moving on to petitions. Citizens that, the Mayor's Youth Citizens That Care. Shelby, I need to sign this real quick. Sorry, I'm holding you up.
All right. When I call your name, please come up and introduce yourself with your name, grade, and favorite summer activity. From Mount Nebo Middle School, we have Miles Anderson.
Hi, I'm Miles Anderson, and
Name, grade, and favorite summer activity.
I'm in 7th grade, and to name a couple of my favorite activities, I like reading, I like art, I like building things, I like music. Nice. Thanks.
Teachers have said Miles is one of the most positive students they have had this year. He is always smiling and influencing his peers in a positive way. He is dedicated to trying new things and giving his best in every class. Miles is an outstanding student. He has a positive attitude in class and always puts his best effort into all he does. Miles is kind to others and makes everyone feel important and welcome. They are so proud of him and all he has accomplished and cannot wait to see what wonderful things he does in his future. Great job, Miles. From Payson Junior High, we have Camille Kenworthy.
My name is Camille Kenworthy. I'm in 8th grade, and my favorite summer activity is going to Lagoon with my family.
Teachers have said Camille truly embodies the spirit of what it means to be a grizzly grateful, respectful, responsible, and resilient. She is a bright light in the school, consistently showing kindness and compassion to everyone she meets. In the classroom, Camille is a dedicated and hardworking student. She puts in great effort every day and continues to grow with the abilities she's been given. Her positive attitude and sincerity and genuine care for others make her someone both students and teachers are drawn to. Great job, Camille.
My turn. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Just put your hands, guys. Councilman. Okay, moving on to number 2, Chamber Quarterly Report. Jim, are you here? I haven't looked to see. There you are. Thanks, Jim. Come on up. There you go.
Hello. I'm Jim Rowland, the President and CEO of the Payson Santa Quin Chamber of Commerce. Mayor and City Council members, I'm glad to be here, and it's my privilege to present our quarterly report. Without giving you every little detail, I'll go through a few things because nobody wants to get inside this head right now. So no business community is complete without its Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is an organization dedicated to helping businesses find the resources needed to grow, gain visibility, and establish credibility. It's the place where businesses can come to network, learn from each other, and get support. It's the voice of the business community, and it's always working to make the community a better place for businesses to operate. As businesses succeed, the local economy improves. Chambers enhance the business and economic climate, which in turn enhances the quality of life in our community. We are one of the fastest growing communities in Utah County, and we have welcomed many new residents into our neighborhoods, bringing with them different skills, new ideas, and a desire to start businesses. This change scares some and excites others. But no matter where you fall on that scale, I declare that the members of the business community I associate with here in Payson are united by a common goal. That goal is to make this community a better place. They work together to create jobs, support the local economy, and build a strong and vibrant community. We at the Chamber are deeply committed to the prosperity of all our local enterprises, working tirelessly to provide resources, networking opportunities, and promotional activities that enhance their growth and success. Working together with Payson City has been key to reaching these goals, and we deeply appreciate your partnership and the financial support that make our progress possible. We look forward to this continued collaboration and hope we remain a valued partner, particularly with your essential financial support in the upcoming budget. So the first quarter saw us recognize some of our local businesses and celebrate our entire business community at the annual Chamber Awards Gala. A special shout out to Jones Paint and Glass and Lions Pride Insurance for their generous sponsorship and support of this event. Thank you to everyone here who attended, and hopefully you had a good time and are looking forward to next year's event already. We hosted our third annual family bowling night, emphasizing the importance of balancing work with family. Over 130 people registered to attend, and it was a great night of fun and networking. Again, Jones Paint and Glass, along with several other businesses, sponsored the event, linking their brands with the Chamber and family values. Last month, we released our annual Community Guide magazine, which hopefully all of you received in the mail, featuring over 300 activities and events in Payson and its surrounding areas. We encourage you to review our Chamber members listed in the back of the magazine and explore the advertisements from several local businesses throughout the publication. I forgot to write up another thing that happened is we hired an intern, Sienna Lund, from the high school this year. We got this list from Robert, Jill, Marty, of over 600 and I think 680 business licenses here in the Payson city boundaries. So we took that list and we diversified it into, or classified them into different categories. And unfortunately, I didn't bring that list with me, so I can't give you the results yet. And I haven't really gone through it, but I did find, Robert, that there were about 35 restaurants. They were split into restaurants and fast foods. And followed behind restaurants were automotive dealers with about 19 or 20 of those, and then 17 salons, hair salons. So nobody in Payson should have a problem getting their hair cut. We got plenty of those businesses. And dentists were just a couple behind. So plenty of dentists, plenty of salons, and plenty of places to eat. So, but she did a great job, and we really appreciate the high school and businesses supporting these interns. We excitedly celebrated the grand opening or reopening of Good Rest Med Spa, Tabitha's Way, new facility in Spanish Fork, and Zion's Bank with ribbon cutting ceremonies. These events generate unity and excitement in our community, and hopefully you have these next two ribbon cuttings on your calendars. A week from Monday on May 19th at 6 p.m., we'll be opening up our brand new Payson High School, and everyone is invited to this event that is being billed as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So if you think about it, when's the last time you're in a community where they opened up a new high school? I'm old for 66 myself, so maybe this is it.
67, 68.
So be there. And then on Monday, or I'm sorry, on Thursday, June 5th at 6 p.m., will be the grand opening of Memories on Main. So this was previously the Getaway Furniture Company on Main Street next to the ERA Brokers. They have completely renovated the building into a magnificent event center, which will be hosting weddings and events with up to 300 people inside. I hope you will attend both events and be part of these exciting community celebrations. So June 5th, 6 p.m., get on your calendars. That'll be a really funny night. All right. As I mentioned in my last update, we received a $92,000 grant from the governor's office to support our home-based businesses with several marketing efforts intended to help them, help these small businesses grow from garage to greatness. Our first event is the Santaquin Hometown Market that starts on June 30th. This market runs 7 different Monday nights throughout the summer and is a great starting point for some of these home businesses to launch their products and services to see how the public will receive them. You can look for ads on social media and shopping carts in Smith's and Macy's with more details, or check out the Chamber website. We desire to get several new businesses to display their products and invite the entire community to come and enjoy 7 nights over the summer of music, entertainment, family activities, and support these businesses. And finally, we are just a couple weeks away from launching our 3rd annual Passport to Summer booklet. Be on the lookout for a booklet that will look similar to this, with an orange cover this year. This year's book has it has 61 fun summer activities for kids to help them explore and learn new skills away from electronics. The books will be available at the 35 participating businesses, as well as the library, city offices, and recreation offices. And maybe we can make this booklet everyone's favorite summer activity this year. And finally, my health is good with successful recoveries from a couple surgeries. I was able to travel to Florida last month to celebrate my mom's 90th birthday and parents' 70th wedding anniversary, which was pretty fun, and was able to play a couple rounds of golf while there. One round was pretty good and one round was not so good. So I am open to any invites to play golf this year. And if I get this job that I'm running now into a part-time position like it was intended to be, my goal is to get out on the golf course much more this year, with a goal of shooting my age within the next 4 years. So I can't do that sitting behind the desk. So hopefully we'll get some volunteers and help to keep this chamber moving forward and helping support our businesses. So that's my report. Any questions or comments?
Any questions, council?
Thank you, Jim. We sure appreciate what you do in the Chamber of Commerce. You help a lot of businesses and help put Payson on the map. So thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Question, I know this, I don't know who it was, about how to Teresa. Oh,
There you go.
sorry, I turned it off so that people couldn't hear me breathe. So helping them get on to the web. Do we have somebody that does that?
We have, I know of at least one chamber member who specializes in that, and we have a couple of marketing people who can certainly discuss that with them. So we can definitely help.
I just think that that would help a lot of the businesses, because I think that's one of the hardest things, is to get that marketing out there and let people know that the businesses are available.
It is amazing how many businesses start without a website. But the chamber, as a chamber member, we build you a website. So if they want to do everything on their Facebook page, they can utilize the chamber's digital catalog that we build for them as their website if they choose to.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Jim, so much for all the work that you do. And it's an honor to work with you and the rest of the board. It's on those early morning meetings and
Thanks, Ann.
all the other stuff. It's really awesome to watch
Great.
you guys work. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Number 3, youth city council officer elections. Ryan, Council Rowley, and Shelby. I'll turn some time over to you guys.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We have an exciting night tonight. Our youth council continues to grow little by little, and we have all of our members here tonight. We've got Ava and Sarah and Ella and Gabriel and Ezekiel, and some of these people have the opportunity tonight to run for an official office tonight to help move the council along, and also give them further leadership opportunities and public speaking opportunities as well, which is an important skill. And so we're going to invite each of them that are running to come and give their little speech of why we should vote for them. Each of us has a ballot in front of us. And at the conclusion of them speaking, we will vote. And then Shelby, are you counting? Is Kim counting? Who do we get? Who's collecting the ballots? Okay, Shelby is. Kim said no. She's tired of doing elections. Okay. So first off, we're gonna hear from the prospective youth mayor candidates. The youth mayor serves as a lead representative of the Payson Youth City Council, acting as a voice for the youth of Payson and promoting civic engagement, leadership, and community service. The youth mayor works closely with other council members, city officials, and community leaders to plan events, advocate for youth interests, and strengthen youth involvement in local government. And so we'll first hear from Ezekiel Andrew. Following his remarks, we'll then hear from Sarah O'Green. Ezekiel, you're up. Good luck.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ezekiel, and in my desire to serve the citizens of Payson, I'm excited to run for mayor for our city's youth council. I stand before you today not just as a candidate, but as a passionate member of this community. And I know that we, as the youth council, can not only learn about our city, but with the right drive and leadership, we can really be a benefit for our community. For as long as I can remember, I've been interested in the government and how it affects our daily life. While our city youth council was inactive, I searched for a way to get involved. And when I found out it was reactivated, I joined as soon as I could. This perseverance and commitment is why I believe that I am the best candidate to help the good people of Payson. I will prioritize collaboration by working together with local organizations and community leaders. I will do my best to find opportunities for us to serve and get involved with Payson's wonderful community. But I can't do this alone. I need your support, your ideas, your energy, and your personality to make this vision a reality. Let's empower each other, uplift our friends and neighbors, and lead the change we want to see. I hope I can count on your vote for mayor.
Good job. Okay, Sarah. Yeah, she's got the, Ryan said she's got the mayor's vote because she's got a hat. So.
You do.
Hi, I am Sarah Ogren, and I am in 9th grade. I have been serving on Payson Youth Court for a little over a year, and I volunteer regularly in Tabitha's Pantry in Spanish Fork. I am running for Youth Council Mayor because I am passionate about making a difference for our community now and for the future. I strongly believe that we, especially the youth, can create positive change and help implement ideas to improve our city. I am fascinated with law enforcement and the justice system, and am working and studying now to become a lawyer. I look forward to continuing helping others, being a part of making fair decisions, and contributing to creating a safer and even stronger community here in Payson. I want to focus on building stronger connections between the community and the leaders so all people's voices are heard. Together we can organize events, raise awareness on important issues, and support causes that are valuable to us, especially with the youth. I am dedicated to working with all of you to make our amazing city a place where people want to come more often, to enjoy and even explore our rich history and sites. I am ready to put in the work and time as youth mayor to represent Payson with dedication. Thank you for your time and consideration. I'd be honored to have your vote.
While everyone contemplates who they're going to vote for youth mayor, I'm going to read the descriptions for youth assistant mayor and youth council manager, and then we're going to hear from Gabriel that's running for both of those, as well as some of the other ones we've heard from. The youth assistant mayor supports the youth mayor in leading the Payson Youth City Council and plays a key role in planning, coordination, and community engagement efforts. This position is ideal for a youth leader who is passionate about public service and eager to help elevate the voices of their peers in local government. The youth council manager. The youth manager plays an essential behind-the-scenes role on the Payson Youth City Council, focusing on organization, communication, and project coordination. This position is ideal for someone who enjoys planning, managing details, and helping teams succeed. The youth manager ensures that the council activities run smoothly and efficiently while supporting the youth mayor, assistant mayor, and council members. So we'll mark who we'd like to vote for youth mayor. And for Sarah and Ezekiel, did you have another speech you wanted to give for the other ones, or just the same? Okay, Sarah. Okay, I see head shaking. Okay, so that leaves Gabriel. We're going to hear from you now.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you all here today. I hope you're all excited as I am. My name is Gabe, and I'm an academic high school student here because I want to make a difference in our city. As a student with a near 4.0 GPA, I know the ups and downs of school life. I want to share what has worked for me and help my fellow students achieve better grades and develop effective learning strategies. It seems like we're all trying to balance extracurriculars, homework, and maybe a little social life if we're lucky. I will also frequently give to the community through service and encourage my peers to do the same. But to do this, I need you. Your support can turn this vision into reality. Together, we can make our community a better place for everyone by voting for Gabe Andrew.
Thank you, Gabriel. Well, okay, mark your ballots, and then Shelby will come collect them. And I want to thank all of those on the youth council. It takes a lot of courage to come up and give your speech and to run for this office. So thank you for doing that. Sure, the anticipation is just killing you guys. This is all of them. Shelby will go count.
I didn't see yard signs out there or anything, so I don't know if this is a real election.
Okay, well, those being tallied, we can go to.
Yes.
We can go to public forum. You think we'll be okay there, or it's not
I
gonna
think
take
so.
too long?
Yep.
Okay, we'll go to number 4, public forum. Anyone can speak in the public forum as long as it's not on, your subject's not on the agenda. And try to be cognizant of your time if you would. So and let us know who you are and where you live. Doesn't appear anyone's going to take advantage of that. Is there anybody online? Okay. Then we'll go ahead and close the public forum, and we'll move number 5, staff reports. Any staff would like to come and talk to us? Figured you would, Carl. You know, Janine's not here, so you had to come up.
Janine asked me just an hour ago to make sure that I pointed a few things out. So thank you for those that did attend the Cinco de Mayo event. There was much rain, broken sprinklers, mud.
It
turned out great. Yeah. And
For the
I'd
rain?
like to thank Janine for her hard work, Wes and the Parks crew and their hard work, and Ruben in our Latin community for putting it all together. And they had fun, all that went, and bringing in the groups. They performed. People sat underneath the amphitheater on chairs as well. Many people got wet, and that's good to get wet once in a while in the rain. We used to do it when we were kids all the time, right? Coming up with events, we do have Adventure Day coming up June 7th. So get that on your calendar. Look, Melanie is updating the web page soon with all of the events that are happening, and that's coming together great. So thank you. Photo contest has started already. Yep. A few things in the recreation. We just finished the school track meets. We had 10 elementary schools come over the last few weeks and did about 1,000 kids each day in track and field events. And that was a lot of fun. We also have started our youth track program. We have 100 athletes signed up for that. And we'll be hosting an event with 5 communities this weekend at the high school track. We're appreciative of the high school allowing us to use their track for that. We also wrapped up our youth soccer. We just finished our 7th through 9th grade tournament last night, and so that went well. We were able to get that in after the rain. We also started our co-ed adult softball, and we were able to get that in on the center fields, although we had a ton of rain over the last day and a half. The other 6 fields rained out, but 3 of them were playable. So we played last night. Our youth baseball and softball games will start next week, so you're aware. And this weekend, we'll be hosting another tournament similar to 2 weekends ago. In conjunction with Salem, we'll be hosting Baseball Utah. We'll have 72 teams between the two of us playing Friday and Saturday throughout the town. So we're glad that's coming as well. Also, let's see if I caught everything. Oh, the pool. I'd like to thank Daniel with facilities and Kyle, and then Robbie, our pool manager, working really hard to get the pool ready to open in about a month or 3 weeks away, Memorial Weekend. It'll be inspected on Monday. We anticipate passing as usual or getting the last few things buttoned up before we open. Robbie's worked really hard to hire the staff, the seasonal staff, which is significant amount of staff, close to 100 staffers at the pool for the summer. And he'll be starting training of the new guards, getting their certification starting next week in the water. So thank you very much. Any
Thank you for all you do. Any
Carl,
questions?
I've got one question. I had a very concerned daughter. The swings at the playground, are those just being replaced?
Downtown?
Yes, at Memorial Park.
I don't know, but I'll look into it.
Okay, yeah, they're
I'll look
missing.
west.
just so
They
you know.
might have been out of compliance, so they pulled them off. So
Okay.
we'll see about that.
Very good. Okay, excellent. I
Move them in because where
They could land. They were out of the
sidewalk.
And that is one of the items too in the park grant coming up later.
Right.
Wes has submitted for a whole new playground to replace that old playground there in Memorial Park and redo that whole section.
excellent. Well, it's all dangerous parks. That's all part of the experience growing up, right? You guys
We
remember
had
the metal slide?
serious-
That's one way to
The metal
say it.
slide
Seriously
that was
dangerous
like
playgrounds.
50 feet tall. You-
We'll see if
We're
our
fine.
risk
The
manager
playground
agrees with you.
experience.
Yeah.
Two of them.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Carl.
Carl.
Chief, just a note for you. It was raining again up there, and you had two officers. I thank you for that. But I walked up to them and I said, and they were standing out in the rain, just out of one of the tents. And I walked up and said, "Don't you have sense enough to get out of the rain?" They didn't. Anyhow, thank you for having them there.
Funny.
Any other? Oh, okay.
Mayor and City Council, I just have a quick one. And especially because we have so many here in the room. So I want to take advantage of getting some more information out to the community. So just as a little update to the I-15 interchange project. So they will start resuming updates to the City Council on May 21st. So they're going to come monthly. We started that. We needed additional time, or they needed additional time to actually get the project going. So they had some regular updates for you. So that will occur on May 21st. So for those of you in the community that are watching also the new interchange project north of Main Street. They also announced today in our meeting that they are ready to launch the project website. So there will also be an opportunity for the community and for council members to be able to go on that regularly and get some additional updates. So they'll share that with you at your next meeting. So Eric Rasband with UDOT will be here to share some of that information. And then along the same lines with the interchange and with that northeast area of our community, you may have received, you probably noticed a couple of emails from me, hoping that you will attend a design charrette next Wednesday with the Planning Commission. But we are also, as part of, as a parallel study to the interchange and the Nebo Beltway project, staff is working on, working with the consultant team to put together a land use and infrastructure plan for that new planning area. So we've kicked that off. We've been having some conversations with some of the major landowners in the area. Got a lot of large tracts of land in that area. So we've had an opportunity to meet with a lot of those landowners and get some ideas from them. But now the next step is we want to engage the Planning Commission, City Council early in the process. So you're understanding land uses and some of the approach that we're taking to evaluate future development in that area. Transportation, Parks and Rec, a lot of different things that we will evaluate in that plan. So I encourage you to come to next week's meeting, have a little hands-on early in the process and give the consultant team some direction that they can evaluate leading towards the completion of a plan by the end of the year. So anyway, put on your calendar.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jill.
Any other staff? Okay, we'll move on. Oh, we got Robert. Go ahead.
I just wanted to stand up and give a quick shout out to Steve Spencer for the new audiovisual equipment in the council. I feel like we've entered 2025 instead of 1995. It's really great. So Steve and his team did a great job, and Dale and everybody. So we've had some fun working out bugs and everything, but I hope you enjoy it.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate you doing that. Okay, we'll go ahead and move to council reports. Council Christensen.
Just a couple of things just to shout out to our engineering public works department. They did a great job fixing some the Payson Creek and things, and I drove over the I don't know what it's called, 900 West, 930 West, and looked at that. That'll move a lot more water than it would before. That's always a plus. You know, you get a bottleneck, and that's where things start to flood, and you get problems. So it's always good to see those waterways widened up and made better. Shout out, I think it's Staker that was subcontracted to fix the road in front of my place today. They did a great job. It looks amazing. It's all great. Love what they do. Excited for the interchange, Jill, and hopefully we can get everything in order to do that right. I hate to see things torn back up later on, and so let's get it in once and leave it in there for 20 or 30 years. So anyway, that's all. Thank you.
Council Hewlett, sorry.
Yeah, I just have a few things here. One is with all those proclamations for the police, the fire, ambulance, and public works, just thank you so much for all your help. I hope that the city at least gets you donuts or something this week or so. Also, I think if we can get this out on social media, just put it out there and say how much thankful we are for these people in the city that really look out for our residents. So thank you very much. The other thing is, besides this great sound system, now I can actually hear. That's great. Then I'd like to thank Sean he reached out to Wheeler and had them go tour MTech, and they might be a good they might invest a lot of money into MTech, and that'll help our community a lot. So anyway, thanks, Sean, for reaching out and doing that.
Okay, Council Rowley.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few items. I too want to piggyback on what Robert said and thank Steve Spencer for all of his hard work. I saw the council chambers last week, and I had thought there's no way he's going to get it put together in time for the meeting, and he did. He worked miracles in here. We got new cameras set up, new visuals, and look, there's even LED lights. He showed me some of these, and they actually had automotive headlights. So when they went out, he had to go. Not even kidding. He had to go get car headlight parts for this, and it's so much better to continue to take care of this building and update it. Thank you, Steve. And then yeah, thanks to Janine. I know she's not here, but Carl, make sure she hears our thanks for all the parties she throws. The Cinco de Mayo, despite all the rain, I was impressed how many people still showed up. I thought that was wonderful. And it was a good party, and we're just getting into party season, so I know Janine will be very busy. And then Shelby, I want to thank you for all of the work you do, particularly with our youth. I care an awful lot about our youth. I love them. I'm grateful for these great youth that spend their evenings with us. Some of them pulling double duty with youth court and with youth city council. So thank you all so much. I love the staff. I'm grateful for our fire and police. And Chief, I'm not going to stereotype you with donuts. So if you want something else, you let me know, okay?
Especially Payson.
And we'll let these two report, and then Shelby, then if you could break the ice here, and the anticipation will be over, and we'll announce who won our elections.
Sounds good to me. I'll take advantage of that. I don't generally, but I want to mention three things that have occurred. Just recently with the National Day of Prayer in association with that, we've had a prayer run. It's the fourth year that we've had it through the Interfaith Council. We had over 100 people participate in that, so just want to give that shout out. Also was able to participate in the County National Day of Prayer over in Provo. That was a wonderful program as well. And lastly, last night I went to the Hope of America. It's at the Marriott Center. It's in conjunction with the Freedom Festival. They've done it for 30 years. It was the 30th year. And they'll be doing it tonight and tomorrow. So if anybody has a inkling they may want to go tonight, it's a little late because it's already pretty much started, but tomorrow night would be a wonderful night out. It's just a very patriotic program. It features over, what, 7,000 grade schoolers, and then 100 different schools. So it's very worthwhile the time. Council Moss.
Okay, well, mostly everything has been said that I wanted to talk about, but I too want to echo gratitude for our staff and the police and the fire department and the EMS. You guys do an amazing job. And with the 930 construction of the box culverts, you guys did an amazing job. That road has never been better. And I drive that road almost every day. It's amazing and beautiful. So thank you for all your hard work, and it's an honor to work with all of you. Thank you.
Well, next time I will. Next time, well, I started with the votes with you, that's why. You got to get your speaker on. Sorry, next time.
That's okay. They don't leave me much to talk about. Tracy isn't here, but I do want him to know that Wes has several people that are awesome. I see them everywhere I go, and they are working their butts off. I'm not supposed to say that.
Oh, it's okay.
And I know that I wish I knew all their names, that I could just say who they are, but I just feel like they do such a good job, and I don't think, our public really realizes it's a small amount of people that do all this work, and they really do a good job. I mean, I drive around and I see them and I'm thinking, oh, I just saw them over there doing something else. And okay, I drive around and watch our people. I'm sorry. I'm not a stalker. I just I just want to know that our people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. So
And they are.
They are. Wes isn't here. Tracy's not here. So would you please pass that on?
They're all working.
I know they. Okay.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay.
Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby.
All right.
Do long pauses. Yeah.
So for our youth mayor, we have
Oh, just a minute. We have to take them tomorrow.
luckily we only had like 20 ballots.
That's what it's like in real life, though.
For our youth mayor, we have Sarah Ogren. For the assistant mayor, Ezekiel Andrew. And for our youth council manager, Gabriel Andrew.
Very good. Let's get a picture.
Yeah. Let's.
Depends on the day if they claim each other.
I was wondering too.
You want to be over here after you take your picture?
Okay. Okay, I'll go first.
One more picture. That was just for me.
Everybody from all over shake everybody's hand. You're gonna be a politician, you gotta shake hands. Okay, moving on to the action items. Number one, ordinance general plan amendment regarding various elements of the moderate income housing plan. Robert?
Hi, everybody. I had thought I thought I had washed my hands of this. Michael did such a good job of working with me to kind of take this over and get it prepared, but he is at the state planning conference tonight. So we're so grateful for him and Marty taking their time to go up there and do that for us. And so I get it again. But these are some updates that we wanted to do to our moderate income housing plan. We've made really good progress on this over the last couple of years. You'll notice that, I don't know why it stopped sharing. Sorry, guys. Can I share again, Kim? Okay. Anyway, we adopted this in 2022 in November. So we've made some good progress. We've actually accomplished some of our things. And so we needed to update our plan in order to remain compliant. Remaining compliant with state moderate income housing is really important because if we're not, then we can be fined and we can also have some of our transportation money taken away from us. So this is a really important thing. One way that Michael and I strategized to help with compliance this year, there we go. Let me share so you don't have to stare at me. There we go. Previously, we had 3 strategies, which was completely acceptable for a community of our size. But it did put a little bit of pressure on us that we had to make sure that we met all of the requirements of those 3 strategies every single year. At the recommendation of several other cities and the state, they suggested that we add additional strategies to allow us a little bit of buffering and flexibility to remain compliant. So we took that to heart and we increased our strategies that we would like to have in the moderate income housing plan to 9. They're up here on your screen. The ones that we've added are, and these are strategies that don't have to necessarily be implemented right now. Exploring the possibility of them is probably the first step, and those are our first strategies to each of those. So these might not be part of our community into the future, but these are things that we can explore in the interim. So incentives to moderate income residential units in new residential areas and mixed use developments. We could apply for or partner with other entities that apply for state or federal funds to promote moderate income housing. Develop and adopt a station area plan. This one was really important because we're almost done and we want to get credit for it. Consider the creation and implementation of a housing and transit reinvestment zone. You might have referred or heard this referred to as an HTRZ. This is happening a lot in communities that have stations. We don't have ours yet, but we anticipate that that will be happening over the next decade or so. We've already been approached by some of the landowners to explore this possibility, so we wanted to put this in and start that process. Nothing has to be adopted yet, but it's something that we'll evaluate into the future. Consider the creation and adoption of a home ownership promotion zone or a first home investment zone. You might have heard of this as a FIZ. These are some tools that the state has created to obviously encourage first-time home ownership and home ownership in general. And then consider the reduction of regulations related to multifamily residential dwellings that are compatible in scale and form with detached single-family residential dwellings. This is a good strategy. I don't know what else we could do for this one. There are so many things that we already do to work with our applicants, so we might as well get credit for it. Some of you might know that this year, the state legislature passed House Bill 37. House Bill 37 actually changed the rules a little bit. And so it said that for communities with no fixed guideway yet that need a station area plan, you could adopt one strategy and it would count for 3 strategies, and actually for 3 years. 2 of those strategies that we could adopt are actually up here, the HTRZ, the FIZ. Again, we wanted to act on the side of caution to make sure that we can always remain compliant. The more strategies that we have, the higher likelihood of us remaining compliant. It doesn't count against us or anything like that. It's just a little bit more information to fill out in our report annually, which is due August 1st. These are the strategies that we have created. We have some implementation measures for each one that we'll be tracking throughout the year. And then our next, anticipating that you'll adopt this ordinance, our next task would be to finish our report and send that off to the state. And then we wait to see and make sure that we're compliant. So that's basically all I have. Whomever makes a motion, if you are considering to adopt, I would just ask that you maybe put some language in there that says that staff can still find any grammatical errors or things like that. And I saw a few punctuation things that I want to change in there. So if you would allow us, that would be great. But I'm available for any questions. I should note that this did go to the Planning Commission and they were unanimous in their support.
Thank you for that.
So I do have a few questions. Do we know of other cities that have implemented any of this kind of stuff?
Yes. So all cities with a fixed guideway station have to have a moderate income housing plan. There's a laundry list of different things that people can choose. These are popular ones, obviously, because they are a little bit more achievable. Some of the ones that the state has put in there, I honestly don't know how a city would accomplish those things. But some other cities have utilized funding sources to create special funds and grants and loan programs for moderate income housing. I didn't feel like that we were at that level at this time. We have limited amounts of resources, and so we need to make sure that we guard those. But this allows us to be compliant. It allows us to work with the development community to create moderate income housing within our city. We're actually doing pretty good. We have quite a bit of availability of moderate income housing. Every city that I know of can use more. Housing is probably the biggest crisis that we face, and there are lots of different solutions. This is just one in a multiplicity of different things that need to be happening for it. So
are there specific cities that have already done some of this?
So I know that American Fork has adopted the HTRZ. I think Salt Lake has, and I think that Sandy has adopted an HTRZ.
So have they implemented it yet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, I would like to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Council, I think it'd be good for us to go on a field trip.
Right. Yeah.
We would love to take you and show you some stations, show you some of these things that have been implemented. One of our strategies that we have and that we've actually done remarkably well in implementing is accessory dwelling units. That was a state requirement to allow internal ADUs in all residential zones. We went ahead and allowed external ones. You guys were all here for that discussion. I think that there was some thought that that might have been a silver bullet. It hasn't been as adopted as freely as I think people anticipated, but it is there for the opportunity when it is feasible to people. And so I think that those are the types of things that we can work towards. The state in the last legislative session actually pushed for ADUs to become part of commercial zones. We modified our one of our strategies to evaluate that. I'm not necessarily convinced of that yet, but it's something to evaluate. So
I might mention that I think it's extremely important for the cities to address these kind of things, because I went to a meeting this morning that was the Mountain Land Association of Government concerning housing. And if we don't show that we can do it and it works, the state's gonna implement some pretty strict standards, and don't want that to happen. And yeah, I came away from that meeting, as I told Robert, a little bit discouraged, because there is definitely a push to do one size fits all. And I applaud the effort that's going into this, and if we can show that it works, I think we're better off.
totally agree, Mayor.
Robert, I have a couple of questions for you. So, yeah, we added a lot to these 3 that were required. I wonder if it's just too many, because we're gonna have to report back on every one of these, right? What we're doing.
Yes, that's correct. Reporting actually is pretty streamlined. The state actually provides a form that we can just fill in the information. The thing that I was talking with Jill about this this morning or this afternoon, I don't know. Putting it into our calendars of just monthly statistics, so it becomes easier. So once we get these, then once a month, Michael and I will go through, make sure that we have the data updated, and then it becomes pretty easy to submit all of that. It does stress me out every single year, but
Because
because August 1st is my anniversary, and I'm like, I got to get this in.
Can we remove them or in the future?
Absolutely. This is a document that's part of our general plan, so it can be amended at any time.
Okay.
We just have to, we're doing this now so we can submit it with our report, so they'll be able to utilize the new strategies as they evaluate our compliance.
Yeah,
But if there are any that you would recommend that we remove, I'm definitely open to that.
Yeah, and that's something we might want to look at in the future. Is maybe a couple of these is they might be stretching a little more than we want to, because we already have a lot. So it's not like we're not trying to do something.
Right.
The other thing I have is I'd like to see us, to save your time, is go to do the one where we can apply for it and don't have to report for 3 years.
I'm so excited for that.
Whatever we can do, let's get that done.
I'm so excited for that. So there are 2 of them in here, so we should be okay.
Robert, one thing, question, consider the creation and adoption of a home ownership promotion zone or first home investment zone. Now, is this a zone where we could deed restrict and it'd be owner occupied?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's
So
excellent.
we're actually evaluating that. The Southern Farms folks that came and presented to you, the annexation that's north of the current city boundaries towards the Benjamin exit. They're specifically looking at the possibility of incorporating a FIZ, a first-time home buyer investment zone. There are a lot of caveats that go with it. There are a lot of interesting things that would need to be evaluated, but we're happy that people take interest and that seem to think that it would be applicable in our community.
Yeah. Excellent.
I do have something to go along with that. So if I remember right, it's just a 5-year deed restriction that the state's requiring, but we can do more than that, can't we?
That's correct. And actually with the first time, with the FIZ, I can't remember the whole thing, you can go up to 25.
Wow.
Well, and that's another thing that was beneficial this morning. This morning when I went over, the state's actually considering a 99-year deed restriction. And one city spoke up and said, "Hey, we want it in perpetuity." So it's all over the map.
Generational housing.
Yep.
Right there.
Yep. So
Any other questions, council?
I think if you guys feel comfortable with this many, we see how it goes, and then if we need to drop some for the sake of making your lives easier, then we can consider that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the general plan amendment regarding various elements of the moderate income housing plan with any minor adjustments for grammar and punctuation, et cetera.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and seconded. A roll call vote, starting with Council Hyatt. Council Moss? Yes. Council Rowley?
Yes.
Council Hewlett?
Yes.
Council Christensen?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you, Council.
Moving on to number 2. This is an ordinance fiscal year 2025, 2026. Stress the word tentative budget. We can change it down the road. Kathy, and we'll set a public hearing here after we hear from Kathy.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. If I can get my thing working, we'll be doing good. There we go. Okay, some of the highlights. We kind of covered these in the work session a little bit, but we'll go over it again. For fiscal year 2026, in the tentative budget, the total budget is $118,463,000. And that's quite a large budget. We added 6% adjustment for individual wages to keep wages competitive. Right now, we're proposing 3% as a COLA adjustment and 3% as merit, but we can change that however that's designed in the end. And just to reiterate, a big portion of employee wages is URS, so you can see the percentages there, and they can add up pretty fast. We've given department heads pretty much what they've asked for in the budget. Mayor's economic development, just want to point out again, it looks like it's decreased quite a bit, but it hasn't. It's just a reallocation, so we're not shortchanging the mayor. The tentative budget again is a statutory requirement. So basically we present it. Generally the council will adopt it, and then after the adoption, we'll work with the mayor and council to make any changes that you might want. Excuse me. I apologize. In our insurance renewal, general liability will be a 6.95% increase. Workers' comp increased 6.95%. Employee health insurance increased 5.5%. And dental insurance increased 10%. Proposed utility rates, based on the last independent study of power fees, they suggested a 4-year incremental increase of 5.5%. So if that's approved, this will be the second year that we increase power fees. We're proposing a 3% utility increase for water, sewer, storm, and landfill to keep pace with CPI indexes.
Kathy, just real quick note, Rocky Mountain Power, if anyone's noticing some of the articles been written, they wanted a 30%, 3.7%, I think it was, increase, and then they reduced it down to 18%, and their board said, no, 5%. So. No, it was 5. 4.7 pretty much is 5. Yeah, so we're right in line with that.
Okay, for the water fund, just some highlights. Again, the 4-bay bond is going to be transferred. The payments for that is being transferred from the general fund to the water fund to allow additional projects. And if you remember, the 4-bay bond was initially created to protect a watershed, so it was designed to come out of the water fund. However, as the city grows, it's more and more recreational, so we think it's prudent to let the general fund pay for that. Again, we're proposing a 3% increase in water. The water department continues to replace meters, valves, hydrants. We're going to use the balance of the 2019 water bond proceeds for a lot of this. The water department is charged with federal lead and copper lateral replacements, and that's included in this budget. The city is seeking options through WIFIA, that's a Federal EPA Water Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act, for funding for capital water, sewer, and storm drain. That's still being debated by the council. That's not a given, and you're not going to see a lot of that throughout the budget. We just have the planning stages budgeted right now. Water rate studies are budgeted for all the enterprise funds. As you look at this and future slides, the colored items are the ones that we're proposing including in the budget. The ones highlighted in black, we have not. Those were requested, but we have not funded them right now. So for the water, we've proposed updating the culinary and PI master plan, water tank design, water rate study, the WIFIA professional services, meter projects, the Patterson pump station, valves, and the lead and copper replacement. This is the water fund expenditure as proposed right now, a $9.4 million budget. Oh, and there's the expenditure, sorry about that. So for the impact fees, you'll see the 26 compared to the 25. The bond payment, the 73,000, comes from the water tank. I think it's a 2016 bond. Improvements are just identified there, and then depreciation. For the solid waste, some of the highlights: the solid waste department recently completed the large landfill scale project. A sweeper is being requested by the landfill, and it's necessary because of the sensitive equipment in the new scale house. And a great deal of the budgeted expenses of the landfill pertains to the maintenance improvements of the landfill. And in addition to the landfill, the solid waste department handles garbage collection and snow plowing. These are the items that are currently budgeted in the tentative budget: the self-propelled sweeper for the scale house, fencing, and a 10-wheel dump truck. Originally, the 10-wheel dump truck was requested out of the B&C fund, but we just don't have the fund reserves in the B&C, and so we're going to dedicate those to road repairs. And here is the solid waste budget. It's a $4.5 million budget. And here's the expenditure, the offset of that. The electric power plant highlights. The large capital projects include the transmission line, and this year we're proposing most of that being coming out of impact fees, and we can expense up to 85% out of impact fees for that project. SUVPS participation in bonding and true up, and I kind of highlight that because it is a big dollar amount in the power plant. The power plant construction and lighting projects. 2026 is the second of a 4-year rate increase plan, and the new electric plant payments made through UAMP, so operational billing. So when you look at the financials, oh, I'm sorry, let me go over this and I'll come back. We've suggested funding meters, the SUVPS true up, an underground rail trailer, and the transmission line out of impact fees. What I wanted to point out here is that as you look at the expenditures, we have outlined debt service for the new electric plant, but when you see the financials, that'll actually come out of operational expenses because we will not necessarily own the plant until it's finished paying off, so it's expensed out of operations. The impact fees power project, again, you have that big transmission line under improvements. The sewer project. The sewer department continues with the construction of the new sewer plant. The city is seeking updates to the sewer master plan and sewer rates. We're working on WIFIA funding as one option to help with the sewer bonds. One of the improvements necessary in the sewer budget is a lift station by the pit property that's out by the theaters. This is necessary to attract commercial businesses to this area. A portion will be funded from the sewer fund, the balance from the sewer impact fees. The sewer department is in a unique position. As we did the analysis, 56% of operational revenues goes to debt service right now. And that will increase if we do WIFIA bonding, and we might have to do some bonding to finish out the sewer plant. So it's a $27 million budget. You'll see that it actually decreased this year, and that is because we're getting closer to the end of the sewer plant, so we didn't budget as much as we have in the past. And again, you'll see that through the improvement section. It's $18 million less than in 25. Here's the impact sewer fees. And here is the updates. It's hard to see on there, but we funded the top 2 rows, and the bottom 2 rows we're suggesting not be funded right now just because of the size of the budget and the amount of funding available. I think in the next year or so, we're going to have to really look at the video truck and jet truck, though, to keep the sewer operations going. The ambulance department. The major source of expenditure is operational expenses, of course. The ambulance is almost at capacity at what they can provide for the city due to available personnel. The city is looking at future equipment, employees, and fire stations in order to more fully meet the needs of the city. The city will need to explore funding options in order to make this happen. We have funded a full-time position in the ambulance department. We've eliminated the transfer from the ambulance fund to the general fund in order to finance that position. An ambulance was ordered last year and should be received in the next couple of years, and that's going to be financed through the revolving loan fund. A fire and ambulance impact fee study is being updated right now. So right now we have funded for the ambulance department asphalt at Station 92 and 1 full-time position. Scott would really like to take this full-time, but right now the finances just don't show a means to do that, so we're looking at other means. The ambulance department is a $1.5 million budget, and again, the majority of that is in payroll benefits and expenses. The golf fund. The golf fund is exploring options for the 9-hole golf course that is expected to bring in additional revenue. The RV park is reserved out early in the year and has become quite an asset to the city. These are the items that we have proposed funding in this budget: people moving cart, paving the RV park, a number 16 cart path, slurry seal parking lot, design for the par 3, the reel grinder, the GPS. That might happen this year. If so, we'll just not have that. Any funds will roll back into fund balance if we don't use it. A filter system and a top dresser. The golf fund is a $2.5 million fund. And the storm drain. Storm drain highlights. The primary purpose of storm drain is to help enforce EPA regulations regarding stormwater IDDE. The city has striven to allocate $300,000 per year for curb and gutter projects. This year it's being divided, I think, 1 identified project and $50,000 for miscellaneous. Again, WIFIA funding is being sought as a possible funding source. The Box Culvert grant program of $300,000 is expected to be still in construction. If it is completed this year, those funds again will drop into fund reserve. We won't use those expenditures. Here's the projects we're proposing. Curb and gutter citywide, $50,000, and 600 east, 100 east to 600 east curb. The balance of the box culvert project and WIFIA funding. And the storm drain is a $2.2 million fund. And internal service funds. So for the internal service funds, we have 2 major funds. One is IT and one is vehicle maintenance. The IT funds we generally expense. We don't look at those as capital funds unless it's a major server or something like that. In vehicle maintenance, we're proposing funding a heavy-duty scan tool, pit expansion, air compressor, and alignment equipment. They have asked for fuel tanks, but we have not funded it or proposed funding it this year. And here's the 2 funds comparison. Vehicle maintenance is $670,000 and IT is $771,000. Now, because these are internal service funds, all these expenses will be allocated amongst all the other funds that use these services. So they fund this fund. The revolving loan fund. The city has a revolving loan fund to finance new equipment and vehicles. The cost of equipment is expensed in the revolving loan fund, and amortized loan amounts are assessed to the departments to reimburse the revolving loan fund and build up funds for future allocation. We've changed the amortization on these loans. They used to be 5 years. Now we're proposing 3 years. And the reason for that is Anthony is proposing a lot of equipment a lot sooner than the timing of the loans. So we'll be able to pay these back a lot sooner. This year we went a little bit conservative on the loan fund, and the major reason for that is that the enterprise funds are a little bit tight, and paying that debt service gets difficult for them. Vehicle replacement is based on the assessment by the vehicle maintenance director, and these are the items that we're proposing putting in the revolving loan fund for this year, and it's a $1.355 million budget this year. Park tax fund, these are the items that are being proposed by the park tax fund, and I'm not going to go over them too much because I know there's going to be a presentation on that to go over that in more detail. The overall budget this year is $385,150. In the general fund, this is the biggie. Sales tax is steady, and this is good for us. We had I had a colleague that does analysis on sales tax throughout all the cities in the state. In April, the analysis he sent out showed that Payson is one of 2 cities in the state that has not lost sales tax over the last month. Everybody else did, and I can't remember. North Ogden or something was the other one. Is that right? And then yeah, the drop in sales tax is troubling. Building permit revenue reflected an uptick this year, and we feel like that may be due to Red Bridge pulling permits. The budget reflects various planning studies. The police is reporting increased animal shelter fees. In addition to wage increases, the city budgeted some police position increases in order to attract and retain police officers to stay competitive. The city is proposing a truth in taxation hearing to investigate the option of holding property taxes steady. The general fund is comprised of the following individual funds, and you can kind of see them there. It's the general fund, B&C, utility tax, Scottish Festival, historic preservation, Petite Neat, Payson Community Theater, CDBG, and the Salmon Supper. So we account for these as separate funds, and then at the end of the year, we roll them all up into the general fund, and you'll see that in the final financial audit. In the general fund, requested and funded, here's the B&C projects. They're down a little bit from last year just because this year Kent's moving through a lot of fund balance, and there's not a lot of reserves left for next year. I'm not going to read them all. You can see them right there if you have any questions, or if you want me to read them, I'm happy to do it. He did ask for a B&C operator. We didn't fund that. Out of the B&C. Building maintenance, they asked for a steam cleaner for graffiti, carpeting in the city, roof on 40 South, cemetery road and HVAC, and admin HVAC. And the cemetery, slurry seal roads and mowers. In engineering, a survey equipment, they asked for an additional engineer. We did not fund that this year, or it's not being proposed right now. In the parks, the park extension of Jesse Taylor Park, a part-time secretary, parks impact fee, tennis court lights, and they requested a parks maintenance worker, which we did not suggest funding right now. In the fire, they're doing hydrant testing equipment, active shooter and hostile event, natural gas detectors, engine loose equipment, and a ladder truck. We did not fund the ladder truck. We're proposing throwing that into the public safety impact fees and hopefully being able to fund that way. For the police department, we suggested hiring a full-time police position, and we're going to move that closer to mid-year to help with the budget. And then evidence fence, firearms range, and they asked for a narcotics officer. We did not fund that in this proposal. Grounds, they asked for winter snow groomer blade. We And in the ARPA funds, a continuation of the council chamber remodel. In recreation, they asked for a backstop and dugout and gator. And in Petite Neat, we're proposing a scaled down version of the restroom. In the
Down from 900,000. Thank you. It was ridiculous.
In streets, we're proposing our iWork mapping, transportation fee, parking lot, and this didn't quite come in right. Sidewalk repair and parking lot of 300,000. They did ask for a corridor maintenance person, an operator one, or 2 operator ones. We didn't fund them in this. In the pool, they asked for UV panel replacement and a helical slide refurbish. And in the seniors, the Balance Improvement Center. So
Careful, you're gonna be a senior one day.
so here.
Sorry.
So this is the general fund with all those other funds rolled in. It's a $32 million budget. Of that, we're proposing using $3.164 million of fund reserves. That went up a little bit because Steve reminded me we needed to finish the HVAC unit for the city administration building, and that is kind of big. Here is the balance of the departments. And again, it's a $32 million budget for the general funds. Transfers and indirect costs. So we have 2 means of moving money between funds. The first one are indirect costs. That's a cost allocation of services provided by the general fund and vehicle maintenance and IT that is charged to enterprise funds. If we look at the enterprise funds, they're supposed to be self-contained businesses. So if we were not providing these services, they would have to go out and hire them on their own. So it's a justified transfer of fees. The second one is just a transfer between funds. We have to alert the citizens before the budget process that we are transferring funds from the enterprise funds to the general fund. Also, you'll see here an operating transfer for the PCT, the Electric Power Fund, that is the Utopia bond, and the Water Fund for the Forebay bond. Redevelopment agencies. Now, this is going to be approved, and we're going to have the public hearing a little bit later. We have 2 redevelopments, the town and the business park. In the town redevelopment agency, the only thing we expense is the Walgreens Economic Development Agreement. That's going to end October 2028. And then in the redevelopment business park area, we're proposing hiring an individual and creating a makerspace. I think Robert and Brian and Dave are looking at options to finance that position. Again, the RDA is a Walgreen reimbursement and the business park is the Tech Makerspace. And that's what's been proposed. So public hearings for the final budget. So if you want to propose or approve the tentative budget, your motion must set the date, time, and place for the final budget, the transfers, salary increases, hearings, budget adoption, and certified tax rate. What we're proposing and what we've kind of tentatively told the county that we'd like is August 6th at 6:00 p.m. at the Payson City Center council chambers. We're going to bring forward the CTR. It's not released until almost the end of June, so it's hard to tell what it is right now. We'll use that rate to determine possible increases we're going to suggest. Do you have any questions? That's a lot of information.
It was a lot of information, Kathy, and one caught my attention and you barely skimmed over it and I can't find it in my book. The animal shelter, how much are we paying to them? I think they're a great service and I love it. I am just, you can fire that off to me later and make it easier, but I'm kind of thinking that I wonder if we created a 72-hour holding facility, that it might offset a lot of that and we could keep some of that in-house, but I don't know the logistics of that. And I'm looking at Brad because he would know all of that. But I think that it maybe if we held our own animals for 72 hours and kept that $25 for ourselves or $50 or whatever it is, that it may help us and it would help them a little bit. But Brad's over there like, I ain't touching this with a 10-foot pole because there's a lot that goes into it. There has to be somebody running it, somebody that kind of has to check on them, make sure there's food and water, and it may not be worth it. But it was a big number.
Years ago, we looked at that, and I know the chief's aware of that. Boy, it can get very costly.
Yeah,
I think it's
and
money well spent to let someone else do it. Is my opinion.
and maybe 72 hours may be too long. Maybe we need a 12 or 24 hour because most people notice their
12,
pets are gone.
15 minutes.
But at the same time, as part of that, you say, well, it's a costly endeavor, but we're also paying to have those animals immediately transported to Spanish Fork, which cost us an hour to an hour and a half of manpower time, and where we're paying so much money out of pocket to stockpile those animals and maybe make one trip over every 24 hours would be beneficial to Payson City in the long run. And that's what I'm looking at.
I think it'd be good to look
It's not
at.
that far, but it's still an hour and a half. And to be honest, I had to go retrieve my cat out of the impound twice. And I'm like, if they'd have just scanned it, it had a chip. We knew it was there. It would have saved Payson City money and everything. And that's why I'm just saying it might be something worth looking at. Yeah, but that would be going into our coffers, not theirs.
Well, it's reimbursed. Any licensing, any reimbursement fees does come back to the city. So we pay that up front. Not a lot, some of that. The biggest problem we have is most people don't redeem animals.
Yep.
So the idea of having a 24-hour, 72-hour, whatever, never works out. Come to fruition.
Yeah.
Then you have to have a veterinarian staff.
Well, I know that I've been over there a couple of times. My brother's the ACO for Salem City, and there's a holding. They take them in, they put them into a temporary holding facility, and that's all I'm saying is maybe we could look at something like that. That there's a temporary spot. We put them. It may be 6 to 8 to 12 hours, and first thing in the morning, our ACO hauls them all over. And just so that it's not a constant trip back and forth. That's all I'm asking for. But I don't know that it would benefit us. So.
We'd have to find a building too of some kind. Yeah.
We did that before when I first started. Turned into nightmare animal groups all over us.
Well, that's enough right there. You say animal groups, I'm out.
I looked at it both ways, Brad.
Okay. Well, it just. Yeah.
And like the chief says, a lot of times people just don't redeem them.
Yes, they are. Well, I'll put a plug in for them. When they do their cells, it's a heck of a deal. I bought 2 cats, $25 a piece. They spayed them and chipped them and vaccinated them, and it was a good deal until I had to get them out of hawk twice. But yeah, and that was more temporary holding.
So,
somewhere you throw them for a couple of hours.
Kathy, you did a fantastic job on putting this together. You did such a great job. We really appreciate it. I do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
One is on the power meters. Under power, the meters, 250,000. Is that to replace bad ones or what is that?
So it's broken into just trying to make sure all the new homes have them.
Okay. The other question I have, and this confused me a little bit, under parks, we have for tennis court lighting. I didn't even know we had any tennis courts. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for the clarification. So,
I do have one correction. I'm sorry. On my presentation, I said we didn't fund a BNC employee, but I think we did. It was originally requested out of streets and we couldn't fund it through the general fund, so I moved it to BNC. So
I have a couple more things. One is the I'm trying to understand the fifth. I know that's a transportation thing. Where does that money go?
the BNC fund.
That goes to BNC. Okay. The other one is and I don't know if we require this anymore, but for a while we were requiring the department heads to do a 5-year plan. Do we still do that?
We did not send it out this year.
Okay, because it still, to me, it'd be nice that we know we have a plan and for our roads or whatever, and it'd be nice to go back and look at those plans. I think we started like 4 years ago. It'd be nice to go back and look each year and evaluate how we're doing with those plans. Because otherwise, if you just start every year starting from scratch, it's just kind of hard to have any consistency for me.
One of the problems we had, and I agree, one of the problems we had with it was reconciling all the requests with the actual budget requests. And we need to work on that and try and come up with a method so the requests on the 5-year plan are not huge and the requests in the budget are much smaller. We've got to be able to reconcile that. I agree. We need to work on that, and I'll put that on my list.
Thank you.
Kathy,
Mhm.
on the dental, it's going up 10%. What's the deal there? That's a huge increase.
Boy, I don't know. Melanie goes out and tries to get, I think she works with a company that goes out and gets competitive rates. I don't know if she's online. She probably could answer that a lot better than I do. She handles that side of it.
It's a 17 dental practices we have Payson.
No, yeah.
We have 17 dental practices in Payson.
So the employees pay a portion of that, and then the city pays a portion of that.
Uh,
How much do the employees pay if it's gone up 10%?
Can I get back with you on that information? I'm not.
Paying per employee, because I know that a lot of places have done away with dental for that very reason.
This is your friendly reminder to use the microphone.
Hear me?
It's not on.
The recording can't.
Oh, sorry. So I know that a lot of places have done away with dental because it is so expensive. And I mean, 10%, I don't know what the city's paying for it. I get my own dental insurance. It covers cleanings and a few other things, but I don't know. I just wonder if it's really worth it because they've made it to a point. In fact, even when you go and try and talk to an insurance guy about it, it's just like they say it's not really worth paying for what you're actually getting.
This is Melanie. Could I?
Yes.
Is it
Go
okay to
ahead.
speak up? Yeah. We pay 50%, and the employee pays 50%. There's still a lot of the municipalities that are offering that. So I would just be concerned about the competitiveness if we did not continue to offer the dental. And we haven't had big increases, but this year, yeah, it was just a little bit higher this year.
So how much is it per person?
I'm sorry, I had another thing I had to run to. I can email you that. I don't have that right in front of me. I want to say it's like 50 something that the employee would pay for a family. For an individual, I think it's only like 10 something for an individual, like $10.28 a month for the individual. That's what the city would pay 10.28, and the employee would pay 10.28.
And so that's what it's gone up to now.
Right. It's for an individual, right?
Yeah, so I have another thing. Okay.
That's still pretty good. I pay way
And
more than that.
and in regards to the dental, I think that's one of the areas where we can be competitive as a government to offer benefits that the private sector doesn't. But dental is expensive, no doubt about it.
I think the important part is noticing the difference, what 10% really actually represents.
Well, that's why I was
That,
trying
and
to. do this
and and I
one-on-one.
appreciate her asking that because it's a few dollars.
Small. Yep.
Yeah, because I pay way, way more than that, guys.
Right.
It helps us retain our employees too.
Oh, okay. And then I have another thing. Go ahead. I butted in.
Nope,
Joel.
nope, you were going.
No, I'm just wondering, so employee, because I am a business owner, I give merit raises. I don't just give a cost of living, because basically a merit raise is somebody who goes above what their job really includes. And when I say I drive around and see, there are some employees that aren't working like they should. And I've seen that throughout the years. I've talked to somebody about it, but I'm not the one that makes that decision. To me, when you do merit-based, the supervisors and like Tracy or, whoever the main guys are, they have their guys underneath them. They're the superintendents. And then what would you call Wes? Is he a supervisor?
He's a department head.
Okay, so they know who their really good people are, who go away and above. Those people should be getting the raises, not the ones who are just floating through and just barely doing what. You give a raise on merit because those people are going above what a normal person would normally do. And I think that's what we need to do. We don't just give a raise to everybody just because we do it. You go out into the public, they don't do it that way. It is all merit based. And I think we need to get to that merit based. For one thing, they're going to work a little harder if they know they're not just going to automatically get a raise because it's a cost of living raise. They got to work harder.
So can you walk us through, have we done merit-based before?
The last couple of years we've done COLA. We're trying to stay number one competitive, but Melanie does a sampling of other communities. So she bases it off similar positions in other communities. So it's not a shuffle of employees to other cities, so that we try and retain.
So we don't do our own merit-based. We don't have our own rubric that we follow.
Not,
Melanie, did you want to?
this would be the first year if we do it.
Try.
That's what we're proposing.
Well, we have actually a few years ago, probably a little bit in between COVID, we have tried a model where employees were during the evaluation process were given an opportunity to do some merit increases, and we did have a certain score they had to get to, and they would get depending on the budget, but it could be 3%, 4%, 0 to 4 was kind of at that year that we tried it. And then again, we've had some challenges with being competitive in the market. And so that's why we haven't done it for the last few years.
Okay, but I have a question. Sorry.
Go ahead.
How many people really leave the city? I mean, I know the police officers will, because you guys have a job that I would not want. I would not want somebody going around the corner, somebody's going to point a gun at me or something. I mean, you guys have my total respect, because that is a job I could never, ever do. But how many people really leave because they're not making enough money here?
We have
a small city, and everything I see, people want to work for the city. Like if somebody leaves, there's somebody right there willing to take that position. I'm not saying like the higher, like you, you're a specialty. You're awesome at what you do. You too. We have awesome people.
I know there's some positions we've advertised for almost a year before nobody applies for them.
Well, we had it took us 2 years and we have an awesome person that we've hired. But for example, because we are competing with the private sector, our equipment operator positions have been very hard to fill. And we have lost some in the water department that have taken other positions with other entities. And so it is important that we do look at what other entities are doing and that we, try to be competitive.
And I think that works for some of the jobs. Other people, I just know this. People are going to move on. Like, they're just going to move on. I know people that have taken less pay just because they want to move on to a different job. So it's like, I don't have a problem with a merit base, but I do have a problem with just giving a cost of living to people who may not deserve it because they have not gone above and beyond to get that raise.
That's why I think a merit-based with a specific rubric, if you exceed or you need improvement or something on specific things, I think that keeps your good people and weeds out the ones that are kind of mediocre. And so I like the idea of the merit-based,
So
even over the cost of living.
yeah, so I thought on this budget, I thought we were doing a combination of the two. We were going to do a CIP plus a merit base, so everybody gets something for cost of living. Then it's merit base on top of that. It could be nothing, or it could be 3 or 4 or 5% for somebody that's really good. So I like the combination because we're still taking care of the everybody, but the good ones, the best, they're working the hardest, get the merit. So I like the combination.
I guess I come at it from a little different perspective. I'm still on the fence about merit-based in the government sector. I think the way we try to be competitive is with our benefits above and beyond what the private workplace could offer. And I guess I really just, if the department heads, the superintendents, the managers are craving a way to reward their good employees, then that's excellent. But if this is another source of stress or hard feelings or playing favorites that would actually drive people away, then I do have a concern with that. And I don't like it being a 50-50 split, either of the 3 and 3. And yeah, we're asking an awful lot of our residents these next couple of years. We're going to do some rate increases, possibly a new fire station, other needs. And so I just like to I'd like to show them that we're trying to cut costs where we can too. And I'm of the opinion that cutting costs at our employees is not the first and best way. I want the best people to work here in Payson, but a total of 6% would be, correct me if I'm wrong, but the third highest raise that we've offered in the last 10 years. And so for me, my opinion, I'd like to see just a flat raise of 4.5%. But that's where I'm at right now, and I appreciate everybody's opinions and concerns, and I want to stay competitive, but I'm not a huge fan of merit myself, but I've never experienced it. I've never worked in it, so.
Well, and it's regulated by the rubric. And so the supervisors wouldn't be just doing it by their own preferences. Like they have to follow and they have to document and they have to do all that
It's
stuff. So
easy,
not
it's
like
easy to
favorites.
say that. I've been in that position. It's very easy to say that, but it's not very
I've been on
easy to
both
work
sides.
out. Yep.
So
I have to.
no, I totally understand it.
Yep.
But when the state only gives 2.5% raise, but we're given up to 6.
But we do have some of our surrounding cities, and I'm not sure what will be officially adopted. But as I've met with other HR colleagues here in the Valley, we are still looking at some of those entities. I'm not sure. I think Springville was looking at, again, I don't know what will be their final adoption, but I think theirs, and again, is a combination, but with their combination, I think it's anywhere between 6 and 7%. Again, and that's kind of trend what I've seen with a lot of the entities here in the state, and it kind of hovers. We could drill down and get some more data on that.
I still think you have to give the raises to the people who are going above and beyond.
And there's a way to do that with merit based.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
is.
there are measurable ways on that rubric. Like if you are participating in professional development, there is a measurable way. Conferences, extra learning opportunities, things like that. And if you're not, then you're not developing your professional prowess. Citizenship, how people work, how you work with other people, the understanding of your job. Are you getting things done? Are you on time? Things like that. So I think we can really make a really good merit-based system if we work together and work it out.
So Councilmember Moss, Councilmember Hyatt, are you advocating for more of like 100% merit-based type of rubric, or
I'm just saying
a
that
cost of living?
the cost of living, that's great. I wish I could get cost of living. That would be great.
But we can't compare our city employees
No,
to
I'm not,
a
but
company.
what I'm saying is, when I've worked in the public, most of them don't get a cost of living. If they get a raise, it's because they went above and beyond. And the thing is the guys who are over them, they know which of their people are going above and beyond. Those are the people who should get the raises first. I don't believe in just a cost of living because everybody just gets a raise. Like, you're not fighting for your job. You need to fight for your job. If you really want your job.
I actually am a public employee on my day job, and so when it comes across, it's flat out right across the board. It's a 3 to 7% raise on our base, and now our base is set at 1, and then there's lanes and tiers, and the more years we work, the more education we get, the higher that pay comes. I mean, that's all public information, and I tried really hard to push that when I first got here because I feel like that is an even kill, a better balance for a city to run that way. But at the same time, it gave so much more like money to people that maybe weren't achieving that. And it's really hard where I deal with one occupation and we have one rate. And if you don't stay competitive and you don't give those cost of living raises, we would switch back and forth between districts constantly, because those districts would learn that that's the fastest way to get teachers and to fill those positions is to just give that pay raise. And I think the same problem would apply here. If we don't stay competitive, they will start to jump ship. They'll go, and when we first got here, it was pretty hard to hold on to our employees. I felt like they were moving in and out all the time, but we've started to get more competitive and we're holding on to them. They get to know our city. They get to have pride in that city. And I think that's worth the money. And I know you're trying to say, well, we want performance-based. I'm here to tell you, if we've got somebody that's not performing, that's why are they still working here? And I'm with the mayor 100% on that.
And how do we find that out without?
From their supervisors.
Their supervisors should be
Not
putting that
necessarily.
information in.
Not necessarily. That's why I think, to answer your question, Robert, I think a good mix, maybe not 50-50, but a mixture of the two.
But that same concept, merit-based, if their supervisors aren't going to fire them, then why wouldn't they just give them money when they don't need it? And that's,
I have.
Who have we fired?
well, we're not going to get into that, but that's the beauty of this is just a preliminary hearing. So let's hash these little ins and outs, and we have till the 6th of August to determine this. And I think this is a conversation that maybe warrants a work session and sit down and talk about it.
So, not talking about firing, but you have different levels of employees. Some just don't work as hard, but they aren't fireable. They just don't work as hard, and others work harder, and they should get a merit. So it's not like, should we fire everybody that doesn't mean a merit increase?
It's not like they're not doing their job. They're just not, as you say, fighting for their job.
Just some people have better work ethics than others.
Right,
I
right.
think Payson, we're getting to the size though that we do need to do those cost of living increases as well. I think the employees, I think it's big enough. We need to do that to stay competitive.
Yeah.
That's why we need to do it. I think a mixture
But see, don't
because
you think
one
most of
part is
them-
fair and the other part is
Most of our
I would
is
do-
by merit.
I would agree with that.
Rewarding.
Get that.
But like
would
Brett
get it.
said, this is something we can consider over a number of months. It's not as easy as it looks sometimes.
And then the Patterson water tank. Is that
Can
what
I
it was?
can I just ask a quick question?
Mm-hmm.
Is there additional information that you'd like us to bring back to you about wages and stuff like that?
I guess for me, from my perspective, I want to know why the merit system and who brought it up, and is these the department heads that want that, or is this coming from above and they don't want it?
Okay.
That's information.
We can provide some additional background and maybe some specific examples of how that would work. I know that Melanie's also really working on a very robust evaluation system. She's been working on it for a long time. And I think that would help for you to see how that actual evaluation and the merit base would apply. So we could schedule a work session for that.
And just one more thing, merit-based can also foster job satisfaction and personal growth. Personal job satisfaction and just go, okay, you know what, I'm doing a good job. This is my thing. And if they're not, maybe this isn't the job for them and they can choose to leave or whatever. But I think a good mixture would be good.
Okay.
So we can
So-
talk about that.
Brett had a good question. Is the city council merit-based or not?
Yes, I think so.
So.
Which is kind of
We are
merit-based.
election
kinda
based and we are
merit-based.
paid, and I think at one time in the last 7 years, we actually established that part of that cost of living is based into the council's pay, so that it wasn't something that was voted on every year and gave them the power to pay themselves exorbitant amounts of money, but kept it competitive enough that we weren't making $300 in a year to put our time into it. So I think
You
it's
devote a lot of time too.
yeah.
That's important.
So I think it was water, was it the Patterson water tank or something? What was that? You went, I didn't want to like jump in when you were going through stuff, but it was just like, I did write that one down.
Isn't it the Patterson pump?
It's not the Patterson water tank, it's a booster pump to get water from the lower tanks to.
Okay, so do they pay for that?
No, we.
But we get to use the water. They pay for the tank, we're just trying to get water to it.
Okay, where's the
So
tank
right
at?
now, the Patterson water tank is only fed out of the springs. So if we ever had a contamination or a line break, that whole zone would be out.
The tank is just above the city tanks. They're in the
Oh,
mouth
going
of the
up the
canyon, up
canyon?
on the very.
Yeah,
high,
it's the really high one, and so this
the
just
real high one.
this is a redundancy.
Water from the lower part,
So it goes up over the mountain?
just goes from the lower tanks.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking there's putting a tank up there.
No,
I didn't know. That's why I wanted to know.
It's just trying to, so we can get water.
Okay.
It'll be good if we get access.
Thank you.
okay, any other questions? I think we've kind of beat it up a little bit.
Sorry. Sean, with the power, are you looking into a base rate increase versus a usage increase? Remember we talked about that a little bit? Right.
What happens when base rate costs? Sure. We also have. You have a huge portion. We have about 7,600 residential right now, 500 solar. So what's happening is that they aren't paying. So it makes it a little more fair.
So can we accomplish the same thing or even better by just adjusting the base rate to kind of get some more funds out of the solar customers?
Yeah, it just makes it more fair between the two, and it stabilizes. Oh, do I need to talk some more?
Yeah, 'cause I wanted to ask you something like, is it even worth for those people to take and put the solar on their roof? Like, I mean, what is it?
That's a big debate.
$40,000?
You're not using
Now, it's probably up to them whether they want to do that or not.
Oh,
That answers.
But what I'm
Mm.
saying is, so if you raise their rate, we're gonna have you know, we've been through this before, they're gonna be mad because that's why they got.
It's for everyone. It's equity
And
across the board.
while we're on the solar panels, what do we do when we go into the negative and somebody's paying us to take their power? Do we charge Payson residents to take their power out of their
Yes.
solar panels as well?
We do.
And I think that needs to be disclosed.
Yeah. So
Because
it,
it's getting more and more common.
We understand that.
it takes a lot of explaining to get people to that point. And so,
Unless they have batteries. Batteries are their option if they keep it in their own.
yeah, but then you still have that lifeline coming in. No one almost
Right, they'd
wants to
still
get
have
rid
to
of
pay
grid.
the infrastructure
And
fees.
so when we had that study done, last year, it's close to $18 per customer is what our base rate should be. And that's to pay for that infrastructure. It's just to pay for the line to come to your house.
That's just, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, just.
Yeah.
They're hooked on too.
Yeah. And people like that security. That's without using any kilowatt hours across. And so you're just trying to pay for like your people, your wire, all the things to get it to your house and make it as fair as you can. And that's why it'd be across the board for every kind of customer. And then try not to take energy up as much. And so the issue is that during the spring and fall, when loads are lower because temperature isn't as extreme, and we're over generating solar in the Western United States. And California is creating a ton. And so we can buy that energy for nothing or negative. And so we can't import that into our city when we have generation going on in our city that we're paying 8 to 11 cents kilowatt hour for. It's like $80 to $110 a megawatt hour when we can get it almost for free if we have that hole in our portfolio. So it's a hard design because you're trying to balance all that, but in essence, that's what's happening is there's like an overbuild in.
So basically,
solar.
they would just need to have their own batteries and be totally disconnected from the city.
Yeah.
No, they would have to have a lot of money.
They'd still have to have a line in there.
They would have to have a lot of money because batteries are. very
Yeah,
expensive.
and you think about the investment. I mean, if you look at your utility bill, I mean, I sent one of the mayor and Ryan of ties, and mine would be very similar. And our electrical usage, we're probably at $60 a month, And so you think about that. I mean, how much debt does that support? I mean, I'm not going to go 25, 30,000 in debt in something that's going to be old in 15 years and not work and pay that kind of a payment. I mean, that your city is, or your utility guys are really trying to drive down costs if they can, especially in the cities. I think in your private sector, there's a little less incentive because they get guaranteed a proportion of their revenue as profit. And we don't do that. We're trying to drive it down. And then any profit we get goes right to the citizens to be used in a different
But
way.
it's not really saving them when they have to pay $40,000 for.
No.
A 15 or 20.
No,
year.
I
But
give
then
examples.
That's their decision if they want to do it.
I give examples up at our state House of Representatives and also our state Senate where I had a lady whose bill was about $35 a month, and they convinced her she was 73 to go $50,000 in debt. And I just couldn't even believe it. She would never get payback. All of a sudden, all this money's going out for this debt. I had a kid come in. He's working 6 days a week. I met him at 6:30. His bill was seriously $20 a month, and they were trying to get him in for like $25,000 in debt, and yeah, it's just,
Well, I've
it's
seen
crazy.
it all over, and they come to me and they're telling me their sad stories, and I'm thinking, why did you buy it?
Yeah. And it's hard to warn because, I mean, like, we can't go out and, I can't require them to come talk to me first or go through these scenarios or look at their bill, talk them through it. And in a way, we're kind of programmed through a lot of our media, our educational system. Hey, this is the way to go. And so we're kind of pre-planned for that kind of a marketing scheme to come in on us. And there's also an information disparity where the salesman has a lot more than the person. They're getting cold called, wham, they're getting hit with this new information. And
We're getting a little bit outside of what we can
Okay.
influence. So I think it's time we go ahead and.
Nope, but you answered our question.
I do have one comment.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
I have one comment on that. I would like to see the 5% go, or 5.5 go to the base rate and not to electrical.
Yeah, look at both scenarios, Sean.
Okay, Okay, I think we've had pretty robust discussion on this. If we're to that point, which I think we are, I'm ready for a motion. Did we need to make a decision on whether we're going to do truth and taxation?
Don't we have to have a public hearing?
Not to decide whether we're going to do it, but set a public hearing date, or is that?
No, we have to have a public hearing for this.
For the hearing.
We
The-
don't?
The tentative
Okay.
doesn't have a
It is
hearing.
tentative.
Okay, I can make the motion then. I make a motion, we accept the fiscal year 2025-26 tentative budget and set the public hearing for August 6th at 6 PM at the Payson City Chambers.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion been seconded. Roll call vote starting with Council Christensen.
Yes.
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 Thank you. Motion carries.
What?
Okay,
Me?
number 3, this is resolution, Parks, Art and Culture. Turn your mic on. Oh, sorry. Park tax, Parks, Art and Culture, Park Tax Committee. Kim. Oh, I can't.
Okay, my name is Kim Bennett and I'm from the Parks Committee. I guess I was nominated or draw the short stick.
You lost.
Yeah, I lost, so I gotta come. It's been a long evening, so I'm gonna kind of just go over it a little bit quickly. The grants that we received with a total requested amount was a little bit over 474,000. And our proposed budget that we believe we're gonna have available is 380. So obviously we didn't have enough, as you can see on the screen. What we're proposing is 385,150, which is basically using all the park funds we believe will be available. And also the funds that we show that are currently in the balance, the parks fund balance, that like 5150. On the mini grant applications, we're going to be over about 6,200 on the amount proposed. The amount requested was 165. So obviously we had to do some cuts. A couple of things on the second one down. We proposed 0. We are proposing that the city actually buy the projector and keep it themselves, and then at the Petite Knee, and then rent it out for the youth theater if they needed to. So we gave them 0. On the fourth item, with the people preserving Petite Knee, we're proposing that 10,000 for the carpet replacement, and then the rose garden we're proposing that it be put on the city project, which you'll see on the next one. And then one other item that we brought up in our committee is down on the 10th item about the music binders for $300. One of the requirements is that they be a not-for-profit, and they were not. And so on the application, it's just a yes or no. So we were thinking about possibly changing the bylaws to allow for organizations that don't have the not-for-profit designation. If a small grant, say under $500 or $1,000, that we could consider, because right now we can't. So we're proposing that either the city might possibly the $300, because as of right now, or if we are able to change our bylaws, that we can accept small grants under 500 or 1,000. Because right now we currently can't, because they need to be a not-for-profit, and they are not.
With regards to being not for profit,
Yeah.
they're for profit, but they don't make enough money
Yes,
to
well, and that's a lot of
support themselves.
a lot of the art organizations do not make money. So that's why we were thinking as a committee, changing the bylaws to allow for small grants for organizations like that we could allow that on the small amounts. So that's something we're looking forward to. On the next page, on the city projects, we are over quite a bit. We're proposing 302,950. We're over about 36,950. We're proposing to use the contingency, and then again, like about 5,000 from the park fund balance we have. Again, and on one of the big items is on the fourth one, on the park playground at Memorial Park. We're proposing 175, and it's going to be over replacing that over 2 years. And so it's 350 over 2 years. So 175 this year and then 175 next year. And then the other thing was on the security door for the pool. We're proposing that it comes from the pool budget. And then I think that's all that I have since we've had a long night. Is there any questions from the council members or the mayor?
So I have one.
Okay.
So when you went through these, how many had done this last year?
I would say the majority.
I mean, do we get new people asking for money that?
On the mini grants, the 96 West was a new grant. If you see that, the West Productions, getting the word out for the theater. We obviously gave them a smaller amount. We had to make cuts, and since it's their first year, but a lot of them are. I've been out. This is my second year. A lot of them are continuing.
So it's like not new people really are putting in.
Yes, and so that's another reason with having the not-for-profit for smaller grants. I think that would allow, because some small organizations don't want to take the effort to become a not-for-profit. And so if we could change that to have smaller amounts for grants that they don't need to be a not-for-profit, I think that might help.
I think that'd be a good suggestion to keep it real for the fund.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that music binders.
Yes. I mean,
Otherwise it comes out of somebody's pocket.
yeah.
So what would we have to do to change the bylaws? Would it be taking
I
action?
believe we have to vote on it, correct?
Okay.
I would say
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And it is an arts. I mean, that's the whole purpose of the parks. And the other thing that we have talked about is also we would like to do is have some type of plaque or something for all the things that the parks tax is supporting, so the public can see where the tax
Yes.
dollars are going. So when it does come up for another vote in a few years, that they can see where the money's going.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
great.
a good idea.
So
Yeah.
that's our other suggestion.
Yeah.
So how would we fund that $300? Would that be something that we would have to do as a city?
Yes, as the city, as the city council, yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Robert.
I was just going to say, in addition to maybe changing the bylaws, I was just going to say, maybe Brandon could review that just to make sure that
Yeah.
funding a private, and it's the guidelines.
Yes.
and
That's
funding a
true.
private organization is okay
Because we're taking
because
from
it's
tax
tax money.
It is.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that the part, the citywide technique tree replacement? Was that supposed to be funded at a
So-
higher amount?
So
when you're
we
trying to balance?
decided to kind of scrap that, and we're using the rose garden. So on the mini grant from the page before on the people preserving petite neat, the rose garden, we decided to basically take that
Okay.
13,000 from the rose garden amount and put it on the Payson, because obviously we did not have enough money to fund everything.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we moved it from mini grants to city projects, and then the eighth South Planner improvements, we did propose $0 for that.
I kind of find when you do stuff for like the parks, stuff like that, I don't have a problem with that at all because so many people use that park and going up the canyon Bay. I mean, that's why I'm just wondering, because I know that we have to, when you're, I don't want your job, having to decide who gets it, who doesn't, but.
We try to at least give almost a percentage, so all the requests, we try to at least give, and then the ones we didn't, we tried to, for the halfpenny youth theater, we tried to think of a way where the city could buy the project and they still either be able to rent it, but the city would own it instead of letting this theater own it and take it with them wherever they go.
So where's that at?
But so it's a theater group, but they usually use the petite neat, and so that's where we would hopefully store, and then other people could rent it out and use it, but then the city would own it.
I love the park tax. I think it's one of the most amazing taxes that's helped our city more than about anything else. And I'm
agree.
thankful for those like you yourself, Kim, that serve on that committee. Thank you for dispersing these funds with such care. This is important.
A wonderful idea to do a plaque because people need to know what we're
Yes,
doing.
Like the
especially
pickleball courts, right? Those are park tax, and those are
they
heavily
used
used.
so much. And
Yeah.
one of the ones on the mini grants, the last one about the Payson downtown for the first Friday night event, it's so beautiful down there, and whoever the city, it's incredible. I think it's so beautiful, and so I think we definitely want to have events down there for the community to see all the work and the cost that went into it, but to be able to use it. So I think it's amazing. Any other questions?
Yeah, just go along that downtown events. Part of that money is if we could find an intern. So that I found somebody from the ALC, so I'm just waiting for tonight to
Great.
be able to bring somebody in to help us do our downtown events. So.
That would be great.
Okay,
Hey, thank you.
are we ready for a motion? I am.
Mayor, I motion that we approve the Parks, Arts, and Culture Tax Committee's recommendations on funding projects as proposed.
Second.
Okay,
I will second. Sorry.
okay. Second and third. Okay, I have a motion been seconded. Roll call vote, starting with Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Yes.
Thank you. Going on to number 4, resolution, project selection for the 2025 municipal recreation grant. Jill?
Because I'm sure you all read the agenda request and you're prepared with the motion, right? Anyway, for the council members that may not know much about the restaurant tax or the TRCC money, anyway, each year cities are given an opportunity to apply for some grant funding that can go towards tourism, recreation, culture, and convention. And so as staff, is what we usually do is we get together with the different departments that would be eligible for use of this funding, because it is regulated by Utah code and it has to be used for specific things. So we gather the groups together that would be eligible for that, and we decide which projects we should present to the council for potential adoption or, you know, acceptance for us to move forward with the application. So the 3 that staff has come up with for this year is tourism videos for the new golf carts. I think maybe Tracy has brought that up in the past, the new golf carts that we're getting, and the possibility of doing some tourism videos. Doing some breezeway improvements in downtown for the film industry. And then the third one would be updating our promotional rat cards. So we are looking for support from the council of these projects. We have about $41,000. We generally can apply for about $10,000 a year. The county has let us roll that over in years past. So for the 2 new council members or the newer council members, it may not even ring a bell to you, because we've rolled it over the past couple of years to actually increase the amount of money that we'd have to do a project. So we've had about $41,000. We would like to put those towards these 3 projects and are looking for your support to submit the application to Utah County. Third one was again? Promotional rat cards. So they are we have 4 for the city, and it's actually to promote different things in our community. We have one for the Scenic Byway. We have one for the Payson events, so for the different celebrations. We have one for Gladstone Golf Course and Petite Neat. Thank you, Jim. I know I heard him cheering there about updating the promotional rat cards, because he's wanted to see that for several years now. But I think we'll take a little more approach on the digital side this year, because a lot of people are going more digital than they are the actual printed rat cards. So I think we're going to do a combination of both. We're going to first update it with our new logo. So the ones that we're using now are still the old Onion logo. So we're going to put our branding on it. We're going to print some, but then also have it in digital format that we can use on our website. We can, send out for promotion, social media, different things like that. Did that help? So.
It's like I was watching your mouth, but I wasn't hearing you.
Well, plus I was speaking very fast to try to get you to the adjournment. So anyway.
So Jill, I have something for you for the breezeway. You talked about just doing it for the film industry part, but I want to see that Payson puzzle put up in the breezeway, and I'd like to use this money to help do that too.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, because that is part of the thought process, is that promotion for the puzzle. But then we're also working with the Utah film industry on a marker that identifies some of the films that have been spotlighted in our community.
Quite a few of them.
Yes. So if you are supportive of those projects, we just need you to adopt the resolution and we will apply. And we'll continue working with Utah County. Just as a little side note, they've changed the program a little bit. They're not going to allow us to roll over money as many years as they have in the past. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But one good thing that has come out with the changes that Utah County has made is they have actually extended the project timeline of when we have to get the project done. In years past, it was you apply by May and you have to have the project completed and submitted for reimbursement by the fall. So it was a really short window. And they've actually extended that to 1 year. So by the time we get the application in, we get the approval, we actually have until the end of next June to request reimbursement. So there's give and take on both, you know, of good things and bad things with the program, but we're really excited about it because, you know, there's sometimes these little projects. I mean, as mentioned with the mini grants, sometimes there's just these little projects that you know will be such a great benefit to the community, but you just can't find that $10,000 in order to do it. And so this is a really good funding source for these little projects.
Any other questions, council? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution for the project selection for the 2025 municipal recreation grant.
I'll second.
You gonna let me do anything today?
I'll let you vote first.
Yes.
Okay, Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Hyatt. Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, now F, adjourn to redevelopment agency.
I'll make a motion. We move to the RDA.
Want to second it too? I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion been second, adjourning to redevelopment agency. Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Rowley.
Yes.
Council Hewlett.
Yes.
Council Christensen.
Aren't we directors?
And well,
Yes.
that's what I was just going to say. We're not in it yet.
No, we aren't there yet.
We're not there yet. I've
I
got
know.
it circled and underlined. Okay, just remember, as we talk about these issues, that you are directors. Okay, number one, ordinance, review and adopt the RDA fiscal year 2025-2026 tentative budget, which we have already heard from Kathy, right? Yep. So unless there's any questions about that, I'm ready for a motion from the
I'll make a
directors.
motion that we adopt the RDA fiscal year 2025-2026 tentative budget.
I'll second it.
Okay. Director Hyatt. Did I double
Yes.
up on you?
You gotta say yes, Director. Hyatt.
Director Hyatt? Director Moss?
Yes.
Director Rowley?
Yes.
Director Hewlett?
Yes.
Director Christensen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Well, I got a question. Is this a tentative budget? Do we have to put in that there's going to be a public hearing and put a date or time?
There you go.
Is it on? That's a good question. I don't think we've ever separated it before. It would be the same date, time, and location as the other budget. It's August 6th, did I say?
So should that be put in the motion if you?
That would be
think we
great.
Might
Yeah.
need to. Okay.
I would like to amend my motion to include the public meeting on August 6th
6 p.m.
at 6 p.m.
Yes, it's
at the Payson City
You amend your
Council
second.
chambers in conjunction with the budget meeting.
So you amended yours, right? Okay, we'll start over again. Director Hyatt, Director Moss.
Yes.
Director Rowley.
Yes.
Director Hewlett.
Yes.
Director Christensen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're
Motion.
all learning.
Yes, we are. Okay, I will accept a motion to adjourn from RDA.
I make a motion that we adjourn from the redevelopment agency.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor of this motion, the Director Christensen?
Yes.
Director Hewlett?
Yes.
Director Rowley?
Yes.
Director Moss?
Yes.
Director Hyatt? Okay, we have adjourned from RDA. And then next on the agenda, adjourn to closed meeting, and I would ask whoever makes the motion to adjourn to go to a closed meeting, follow the provided motion. It's in the agenda.
Mayor, I will motion to adjourn the regular meeting and go into a closed meeting on May 7th, 2025 at 8:19 to discuss pending or reasonably imminent litigation.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and seconded. Council Christensen,
Yes.
Council Hewlett, Council Rowley,
Yes.
Council Moss.
Yes.
Council Hyatt.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned to closed session.